Hello guys, today we are making homemade bread. How many of you jumped on the bandwagon of making homemade bread during quarantine? Here. Alright, I'm going to show you how to do it. Super easy recipe. So first you're going to take 3 cups and 2 tablespoons of flour. So I've got my measuring cup here. So I recently learned that you're not supposed to just dig in the bag and press all the flour in the cup. As best you can, you're supposed to spoon it into your cup and then you're supposed to level it off like that. Who knew, right? So this comes in the Pampered Chef set. So when you ordered this one, you're gonna get all these cups that, sit together and they all attach at the handle. Like so. And then this attaches right on top of it. So it's a nice little set. All right, we did 1 cup. It's definitely getting colder out, so homemade bread with soup is my plan. It's going to be so comforting and cozy. I'm really into soups lately. And the homemade bread to dip is just perfect. Okay, so I've got 3 cups. I'm going to do 2 tablespoons. I've got my measuring spoon here. Put it to the tablespoon mark. Whoops, see, I almost did it the wrong way. 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. All right, done with the flour. You don't have to pour it in 2 separate bowls. I just did that for demonstration purposes. You can pour it right over the bag of flour. All right, next we're going to do 1.5 teaspoons of salt. So I've got my salt here, and so I've got the smaller measuring spoon. I can just do 1 teaspoon and then move it to the half mark and do that. Or on the tablespoon measuring, I've got 1.5 teaspoons setting right there, so that's kind of handy. Okay, salt. I'm going to do 1/2 teaspoon of yeast, and this is the fast rising yeast. Okay, dump that in there. And then it calls for 1.5 cups of hot water. So I guess since I'm newer to making bread, it can be kind of finicky. You can't have it too hot, you can't have it too cool, but I just put hot temperature or hot water through my faucet, and that seems to work really well. So you can kind of get the water as hot as you can through your faucet and your tap water, and there you go. So I'm using the measure all cup, and I just fill it to 1.5 cups. I'm gonna dump it in here, the liquid side, obviously. So I'm gonna mix this with my mini scraper. You don't want to mix it too much. You just want to mix it till everything's combined. If you over mix it, that can also kind of, make it not turn out quite right. Bread is kind of finicky. But if you follow simple instructions like this, it's quite easy and it's so delicious. My whole family likes this bread. All right, I'm gonna mix everything together, just like so. And then what they want you to do is let it rise for 3 hours, okay? So you can put plastic wrap or you can put just a towel over this and let it rise in the oven, not turned on, with the oven light on. So there's a tiny bit of heat with that little oven light, but there's no heat in the oven. So you're just gonna let it rise like that. So I'm gonna meet you back here in 3 hours. All right, it has been 3 hours and we are back. So, very important thing, take out your dough out of your bowl and preheat your oven to 450 degrees. Make sure everything is out before you preheat it because you've got that towel on top and you don't want to start a fire. So here we are, and it's nice and bubbly, which is totally what you want, okay? So now we have to get a workspace that we can flour and just kind of take this out and then knead it just a little bit. Very easy, I promise. So I'm gonna work on my counter. I already kind of sanitized the counter. Otherwise you could use a mat or a cutting board, whatever you'd like. This little guy, I didn't like him at first. So this is our powdered sugar shaker, and he's super cute, and I really wanted to like him, but it wasn't working that great, and the kids weren't able to use it, so I'm like, I think I'll just return him. But I tried him again, and he's definitely a keeper. So he's got a cool little lid on the top, and it's just so nice and small. Otherwise, you've got larger containers of powdered sugar. I have flour in here, so this is how I'm going to do it. So if you kind of shake it like that, I think I was going more like up and down and then not really coming out. So if you shake it to the side, look at how well that works. So here's my workspace. I'm gonna take my scraper here, and I'm gonna scrape this out of the bowl and onto my floured workspace. I'm gonna get a little flour on top of this guy, and we're just gonna mix them a couple times. Okay, so it says about 5 to 7 times, not too much. Use as much flour as you need just so it's not crazy sticky. Alright, and just kind of roll them into a ball like that, okay? So then we're going to get parchment paper. Let me grab that parchment paper. We're going to get parchment paper, and we're going to stick them in the bottom of another bowl, okay? So I'm going to take the bread here and just put it right in the bottom of this bowl. We're going to let this rise for 30 minutes, okay? So the oven is preheating right now. So what we want to do is choose a Dutch oven and put it into our conventional oven. So you need a Dutch oven to do bread just because it gets so hot. It's not safe for normal pots and pans. So I want to introduce you guys to the Rock Crock collection from Pampered Chef. It's a newer collection and it's amazing. I know I use the word amazing a lot, but it's really, really awesome. So this is the Dutch oven, okay? And if you guys are familiar with our stoneware, it's the same clay they use in the stoneware, but they've got it glazed inside and outside, so there's no seasoning that has to be done. It's already pre-seasoned for you, and it looks so pretty. It's so nice and pretty, and totally, it won't brown after all the seasoning like the other ones do. So we've got the lid here with each piece, and these are extremely versatile. There's a fly in here. So what you can do is you can start in the oven and you can end up on the stovetop. You can put these in the microwave, you can put these on the grill, they can go in your fridge, they can go in your freezer. These pieces can go anywhere, and you can start in one spot and go another spot. The only thing is if you're in from the freezer, from the super cold, you don't want to go all the way to a preheated oven. You kind of want to let it warm up a little bit. But that's it. They're very versatile and you can do so much with them. This is the Dutch oven. I've also got the everyday Rock Crock, which is nice. It's a little smaller, but you can cook anything in here. And I think I'm going to do soup in my Rock Crock. One other piece I forgot to tell you is you can put it also on the base. This is a slow cooker base. So I'm going to do the everyday Rock Crock for my bread, and I'm going to do the Dutch oven because it's more like a pot size onto my slow cooker base. So extremely versatile, and I love that. They also have a round stone for pizza. They have a nice smaller square stone. They have lots of options. And this is the type of stuff where you get what you pay for. It's definitely a little, I'd like to call it a bigger ticket item. And to be honest, I got all of these 3 things. Well, I got this when I signed up to be Pampered Chef consultant. That came in my consultant kit. And this stuff I got for free for having my party. So if you guys are interested in like expensive cookware like this, that's going to last for a really long time and great quality, I totally suggest doing a party because you can get a lot of free items. So, all right, I'm going to put my everyday Rock Crock with the lid on it into the oven and let this guy sit for 30 minutes, and then we'll come back and finish up. Okay, it's been 30 minutes and I took this everyday Rock Crock out of the oven. So I'm going to use my silicone trivet, my hot pad here. And I really like these for dinners because you can put it on the table, and if food spills on it, you can wash them. You can put them in the dishwasher. It's kind of nice. So side note there. All right, so I'm going to take the lid off of this Dutch oven. I forgot to tell you guys that you need to cover the bread, okay? Cover the dough while the 30 minutes and all this is heating up. So you're gonna wanna cover that back up with the towel. So you're gonna take your parchment paper with your dough and you're gonna stick it right inside your pan, okay? Or your Dutch oven, excuse me. And if it's a little bit taller, you're gonna wanna cut these sides down just so that they don't burn, okay? So I'm going to stick the lid back on, put them back in the oven for 30 minutes. After that 30 minutes, what we're going to do is take the lid off and continue to bake him for 8 to 12 minutes. It just depends on how browned you want the top. So there was a time I did it for 5 minutes, another time I did it for around 8 or 9 minutes, so it just depends on what you want. All right, see you guys back here soon. Here he is, the final product. I only baked it for 5 additional minutes, but look, you guys, it's beautiful. And the house smells so good.